This channel is supported by TrueFire. TrueFire is an online library of lessons from some of my favourite players. There's thousands of lessons on there. You can use the promo code JNC40 to get 40% off of any of their courses.
So this is episode 3, I think, in Half an After Hour's idea, which was that I react to some presets from some of my Patreon members or YouTube members. I can't remember if David Dorr is either of these. He emailed me 2 presets to check out. This is the first one, and I was really actually enjoying this one. I'll show you all of the settings on the preset. If you want to get involved in this sort of thing, if you're already a Patreon member or a YouTube member, I'm much more likely to actually get around to checking out your preset. I think it's kind of a fun thing. I'm not an expert on any of this, of course. This is just me reacting to your presets. Of course, I spend a lot of time with the Helix. And so, you know, some of you may have learned something from me. So hopefully in these videos, I can learn something from you as well. Kind of a community building thing. I've been looking at vans this morning. Still don't have a van. If you fancy buying me a coffee, I'll go into the van fund. I don't know. Here's the preset. David actually sent in 2 presets to check out. If you're wanting to send in a preset to check out, I've tried to keep this kind of exclusive to Patreon members and YouTube members, or so you know, a reason to support if you want. It's a pretty shit reason, but you know what I mean. Anyway, so we've got this one here called Baseman's Fawn. There's 4 snapshots to it, and it's by default set to this ambiente. So he said in the email, this is from David Dorr, he uses these in a church, so they may be a bit more kind of reverb delay heavy than I would normally dial in, but I think in general I'm kind of a bit of a wet guy anyway, aren't I? I think this is a really cool pairing, by the way, of a Bassman and a Vox, sort of 2 classic amps to chuck together. Let's try just clean. And then boost.
So let's just jump in and look at the preset. One thing that I noticed with Vox in general is because they've got so much high end, they tend to make a little bit more noise. So I often would use a gate, I think, in general. I don't know if, yeah, that might be a thing, especially sat this close to the computer. Okay, then we've got the amp and cab paired together here, have we? Or no, that's just the amp. So we've got Tweed Blues Bright, so that's the Bassman Bright channel. And we're using snapshots here, so you get extra points for using snapshots. Let's just see what happens. Yeah, all of the snapshots have slightly different things going on, so that's kind of cool. Bass kind of low, mid high, treble high, presence nice and low. Okay, and then the Vox we've got really high actually, so that's quite interesting. I wouldn't have expected it. I'm going to guess the master must be down. No? Incredible. So the Vox doesn't really get super gainy then, even if you have the drive all the way up. That's interesting, because to me that's responding. Pretty clean still with my Strat. Bass kind of low, cut not too high, and treble halfway, presence off, obviously. Okay, and then we've got the mixer here, A panned and B panned, into a stereo optical trem. The intensity fairly low, but the speed quite high. One thing that I like is generally slower trem sounds. Okay, then we're going into a stereo cab. So we've got the 4x10 Tweed. So I think this is the Bassman Tweed cab. 121 ribbon, cap edge. We're using low cuts and high cuts as well. Interesting. So for the driven tone, I think that is, we get the high cut coming in a bit. Handy feature. And that's panned into center. And then we got on the right hand side a bit more of a Marshall style cab with a 57, and that's also panned in the center. So I think, would we want to do this if we, because these are panned stereo here, once we go into this stereo cab block, if we don't pan this, we're going to lose. So that would preserve our stereo then. Okay, then we got an EQ, which is taking both low gain and high gain. So without that, we'd have this. Okay, that's not doing anything too drastic. Normally, I'm pushing the low shelf rather than... cutting it, but you know, that's one of the things, especially with me with single coils. I find increasing these rumble frequencies generally gives me a bit more of that kind of amp feel. Then we've got the vintage digital, nice, 24-bit mix, 26%. That's about where I kind of like things as well, between 20 and 25%. This sample rate actually is a really powerful little controller in the vintage digital. You can have like pristine chop off the top end in that way. Quite powerful little tone shaper. Anything else? We've got the headroom at +12. That's really A-level programming, because basically that means that you're not going to clip this digital delay. So if you have that down lower, you can get weird little pops and crackles happening. So I think it should be defaulted to +12 generally when I'm patch building. And then the glitz reverb, which is one that I really like. So I'm enjoying this preset quite a lot, to be honest with you. Have we got space to add anything else? We could add a kinky boost, deranged master, top secret OD. So yes, so let's go with a screamer. Let's put that at the front. I think this might be the sort of thing that I would add to the preset, just to give another sort of level of That's one of the real benefits of the glitz reverb as well, actually. It's pretty low on DSP, so you can get a lot in to a preset if you're using glitz. So let's just keep the gain. We're already quite bright, I think. I'm just going to save that just in case David wants to try that. What I'm thinking is that the way that I would have it switching, if we put the tube screamer over here, then I've got it so I can either be in snapshot mode or stomp mode. I think I'd have it in stomp mode like this. Snapshots, don't I? And save. Okay, so now I can jump between each of them, and in push mode I imagine that might sound pretty cool. And I might even, with that tube screamer, also put that on. So that when I chuck on a tube screamer, I'm actually then turning off the I like the sound of trem on clean tones, not so much on driven tones. And I definitely, personally, more of a slow trem guy. Thank you, David, for sending that in. Really, really enjoying those tones. So that's something to consider, pairing together your Bassmans and your Vox, really cool like dual amp preset there. And because the Fawn doesn't use much DSP, we've got so much other free DSP to chuck in all sorts of cool blocks. Really pretty cool little preset there. Maybe my favorite one that I've tried. David actually sent in another one, but I'm going to save that for another video, I think. But thank you for sending that in, David. And thank you, Herfner Arnaftyal, for the idea. I don't know if I pronounced your name any better there, but I'm trying. I'll catch you in another video soon. And if you want to send in a preset for me to check out, you've got my email address, johnnathancordy@gmail.com. If you're a Patreon member or a YouTube member, I'm more likely to look at it than if you're not, if that's any incentive to support me. But yeah, cheers.